Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, seal and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Want to train like a pro? DGS Ninja has you covered with obstacles designed by top athletes. Kevin Carbone, Matt Bradley, Tom Alberti, and Brett Sims. Whether you're dialing in your technique at the gym or training at home, DGS Ninja equipment is built for performance, durability, and safety. Train with confidence. Train with DGS Ninja. Find obstacles, rigs, mats, and more on dgsninja.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my chalk bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slab chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slab trucks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
Here at Stage 4 Designs, we are all about innovation and athlete safety. We've been doing this since 2015, designing the most innovative obstacles in the sport, and now with our partnership with the World Ninja League, we are very excited to bring some of our best designs to the highest level athletes in the world. For our process, it all kind of starts right here in our digital design. There's a much more deliberate process now in what we do, with our goal being the utmost in athlete safety. So we put everything into our digital design first, make sure it's all gonna work, then we procure the parts. We learned the process and refined it to what we feel are some of the highest quality urethane products you're gonna find in the Ninja space, and that all happens here at our custom-built workbench. A lot goes into our urethane, and we are very proud of the work that we do there. Everything that we build here at Stage 4 is all custom made in-house. It's not like we have a stock of a bunch of stuff. So when you do place an order with us, that order comes through and we basically build everything from scratch. Paint department is scalable. We basically hand paint most things, but some things that require a little bit more spray or bigger, we're capable of that as well. These athletes put these obstacles through some of the most rigorous circumstances that you could think of, and we want to try to plan for every contingency. We never want an obstacle to break on anybody. We always want our stuff to feel solid and not move around a whole lot, so that the athletes can trust their skills to throw the biggest moves that they possibly can on anything that we put out there. Our CNC machine handles all of most of our flat goods. It's the workhorse around here. It actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of cutting things out. We don't do any of our flat goods by hand. We make sure that everything is exactly the same and replicable, so that, you know, if you're doing courses or you have athletes that are going either head to head or the same obstacle that you're gonna find at one Ninja gym is gonna feel exactly the same if you go to another Ninja gym or your home for that matter, so that there's consistency with all of our product. Over the years, as we've added to our suite of products that we offer, we realized that pipe and metalworking is becoming more and more commonplace in Ninja obstacles, and to meet that demand, we've added the ability to do that here as well. So a lot of the obstacles that you'll see that we design and develop are meant to go on truss, and pipes are a big part of that. So we've added a pipe bending station here, and look for, in the future, us to offer a lot more innovative obstacles that kind of exist in that space where pipes are a big part of it. So here, everything that we put out is tested by real ninjas before it goes out. We want to make sure that our obstacles can stand all sorts of unforeseen circumstances. We know that Ninja athletes move in ways that are innovative and new, and we want to try to account for as many of those as we can and make sure that those obstacles hold up. So we test everything. Over the last 10 years, Stage 4 Designs has been committed to developing the most innovative obstacles that you're going to find, but also the safest and most reliable obstacles. Our motto here is elevating obstacles. We do feel that on this platform, we can take something that's both fun and creative, but also elevate it to an industry that deserves to stand on its own.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, CO and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Want to train like a pro? DGS Ninja has you covered with obstacles designed by top athletes. Kevin Carbone, Matt Bradley, Tom Alberti, and Brett Sims. Whether you're dialing in your technique at the gym or training at home, DGS Ninja equipment is built for performance, durability, and safety. Train with confidence. Train with DGS Ninja. Find obstacles, rigs, mats, and more on dgsninja.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my truck bag? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slab chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slab trucks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
Here at Stage 4 Designs, we are all about innovation and athlete safety. We've been doing this since 2015, designing the most innovative obstacles in the sport, and now with our partnership with the World Ninja League, we are very excited to bring some of our best designs to the highest level athletes in the world. For our process, it all kind of starts right here in our digital design. There's a much more deliberate process now in what we do, with our goal being the utmost in athlete safety. So we put everything into our digital design first, make sure it's all going to work, then we procure the parts. We learned the process and refined it to what we feel are some of the highest quality urethane products you're going to find in the Ninja space, and that all happens here at our custom-built workbench. A lot goes into our urethane, and we are very proud of the work that we do there. Everything that we build here at Stage 4 is all custom made in-house. It's not like we have a stock of a bunch of stuff. So when you do place an order with us, that order comes through and we basically build everything from scratch. Paint department is scalable. We basically hand paint most things, but some things that require a little bit more spray or bigger, we're capable of that as well. These athletes put these obstacles through some of the most rigorous circumstances that you could think of, and we want to try to plan for every contingency. We never want an obstacle to break on anybody. We always want our stuff to feel solid and not move around a whole lot, so that the athletes can trust their skills to throw the biggest moves that they possibly can on anything that we put out there. Our CNC machine handles all of most of our flat goods. It's the workhorse around here. It actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of cutting things out. We don't do any of our flat goods by hand. We make sure that everything is exactly the same and replicable, so that, you know, if you're doing courses or you have athletes that are going either head to head or the same obstacle that you're going to find at one Ninja gym is going to feel exactly the same if you go to another Ninja gym or your home for that matter, so that there's consistency with all of our product. Over the years, as we've added to our suite of products that we offer, we realized that pipe and metalworking is becoming more and more commonplace in Ninja obstacles, and to meet that demand, we've added the ability to do that here as well. So a lot of the obstacles that you'll see that we design and develop are meant to go on truss, and pipes are a big part of that. So we've added a pipe bending station here, and look for, in the future, us to offer a lot more innovative obstacles that kind of exist in that space where pipes are a big part of it. So here, everything that we put out is tested by real ninjas before it goes out. We want to make sure that our obstacles can stand all sorts of unforeseen circumstances. We know that Ninja athletes move in ways that are innovative and new, and we want to try to account for as many of those as we can and make sure that those obstacles hold up. So we test everything. Over the last 10 years, Stage 4 Designs has been committed to developing the most innovative obstacles that you're going to find, but also the safest and most reliable obstacles. Our motto here is elevating obstacles. We do feel that on this platform, we can take something that's both fun and creative, but also elevate it to an industry that deserves to stand on its own.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the WNL Premier Series Season 4 qualifier out here at Carolina Ninja Academy in Huntersville, North Carolina. Special thanks to Kevin Thompson, who is our course designer for the weekend out here. He's done an absolutely incredible job taking on the role of designing two courses that all of our athletes across the weekend have been facing, and we are about to be continuing the Ninja action with our amateur division, which is one I am very, very excited for. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Billy Dixon, joined alongside my co-host Kane Morlin today. Kane, we're back, day 2. How are we feeling?
You know, I was there for 2 of the youth divisions, and they did not disappoint as they usually do. Not disappoint anyway. I want to make sure I said what I meant to say. But while we're here, why don't we get into the Premier Series format for those just tuning in to see what the buzz is all about and what we're in for today.
All right, let's have a look. So, we have taken the top 25% of all athletes from the World Championships as well as their season standings, and everyone who fits that caliber has gotten an invitation to the Premier Series, meaning that they can compete in any of the 14 qualifiers that we've got going on throughout the entire world, spanning many different countries. In terms of the courses that they'll be running, we've got two. We have the placement course and the challenge course. On the placement course, if you fall or run out of time, your run is over. Simple as that. And it seeds the run order for the challenge course. So if you get first place on the placement course, then you are going last on the challenge course. You've earned the right to go later. Every athlete on the challenge course gets 2 retries, but you can only utilize a retry 1 time on an obstacle. And the top 4 athletes at the end of the challenge course will be going on to the Premier Series finals for Season 4 at Descender Obstacle Training in Marlborough, Massachusetts. It's going to be happening on November 20th through to the 22nd. It's going to be an absolutely amazing time out in late November for that finals event. And Kane, this roster is looking absolutely insane. There are 2 people in particular that I think our viewers watching are going to go absolutely insane for. The first of which that I want to point out is one of my commentator mates. It's going to be Megan Budway. 30 years old, coming out of Boynton Beach, Florida. She's been a coach here for the weekend, taking a bunch of people out from the team at the lab in Florida. I was talking to her last week. She was very, very excited to be coming out here to compete and coach. And after seeing a bunch of her students take things on, it's time for her to compete this time.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the past 2 years, we've had a qualifier in the state of Florida. However, this time, the closest option is in North Carolina. So a lot of competitors from Florida, Georgia, obviously the Carolinas are getting a chance to compete here. Some opted to compete at Austin Ninjas, but that was last week, obviously. And this week, we're seeing some of that Southeast representation. So let's get into the demo run and see what they're going to be up for.
Okay, so we have seen a lot of people take on this placement course. We start out with a run, a sonic curve, a slider, and then 4 little balanced steps that we're seeing out here. You're going to be wanting to step in the middle of all of them if you want a good enough speed and control going through them. Then we have some monkey bars that our athletes are going to have to go across. There's a lot of running in this placement course as well, going from one side of the gym to another for these bars out here. Very evil that they have to traverse through the gym for only 1 obstacle here. But then they have some laches followed by some trapezes, and then it's a massive run all the way to the other side of the gym, so they can go all the way up to the top of the warped wall complex where they have to hit a buzzer to stop their time there. So it seems like these athletes in the teen division, they had 45 seconds to complete it from the 60 that the youth divisions had yesterday. So I'm not too sure if it's going to stay at 45 or if they're going to get even more, even less time. We're going to have to see further. Kane, is there anyone else you want to point out of interest to you?
Well, yeah, it would be remiss of us to point out Megan Budway without mentioning the other half of the power couple, which is Flip Rodriguez, a long-time ninja competitor that hopefully needs no introduction if you've watched even a smidge of the TV show. But yeah, just in general, our amateur division, it's always super exciting because it's a whole grab bag of ages. We have our young adults, we have our adults, we have our masters, but up first is going to be a young adult, Faith Trest from Motive School of Movement.
Absolutely. So, starting out the amateur division, someone coming out from the young adults, age 16, out of South Carolina, Faith, on her way through, starting out very strong here. The starting point, okay, very, very close there on those crisscross moves there. Faith Trest not having a problem with 27 seconds coming along through into the bars.
Yeah, trying to trust the process here. And now these bars, obviously our amateurs being taller, allows you to reach on through, get to those bars quicker. However, a little whiff on the trapeze, able to salvage it and get to the end. 8 seconds though. This is going to be very, very tight. Just got to dig deep and sprint to the end.
Here she goes. 2 seconds left as she climbs up the wall. Oh, wow! That was too close for comfort. I'm not too sure that I thought she was going to miss it personally, but my lord. like 0.5 seconds left. Was that? That was insane. With 45 seconds on the clock, that course run took a 44.46. What a way to start things out.
Oh, talk about nail biting. That really kept us on our toes until the last second. But now we move on to one of the competitors we've been very eager to see. This is Megan Budway.
Here we go. Very excited. One of the most anticipated runs of the weekend out here. Megan, one of our WNL commentators. Typically, she'd be behind a computer talking into a microphone with many other competitors on the screen, but she's one on the screen this time. Megan knows what it takes to become one of the top ninjas in the field out here, and with 5 amateur female competitors, she's hoping to be getting the first place spot here today. She's been a coach at the lab ever since it opened, and she's been coaching a bunch of younger competitors who have competed here the entirety of this weekend, still trying to get pumped up, ready to go. We got Flip on the sideline, getting ready to go. Megan Budway, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, true. Both of the power couple people on the floor right now. Let's see if she can rock and roll. Megan off to the races. She sprints down the first 2 obstacles with relative ease, but these steps cannot be taken for granted. And she tackles the bar!
Oh, Megan, no. She was moving
no.
so smoothly. Let's have a look at that. She kind of went low down coming out of the slider, and that might have played along with the way that she was moving, but still just a bit of unorthodox foot placement on the crisscross there. Very, very sad. Megan, with that result, is probably going to be one of the first competitors running the challenge course later on, but she was able to get the warp wall, one of the faster runs that we've seen across the weekend as well. Hopefully, she recoups herself, ready to go when it's time for challenge.
Yeah, that's true. But just like that, we're on to our 3rd competitor in the amateur female division. It's going to be Aaliyah Fitzgerald, another young adult. Yeah, a lot of, I don't know, polarity between the ages of our competitors here. We have some who are on the lower bound, some on the upper bound, which is interesting because with age comes experience.
Indeed so. One of the great things about the amateur division, one of my favorites to watch, due to the fact that we have 3 individual divisions all put together into one whole division. We have the young adults, the adults, and the masters all coming together for the amateurs. And Aliyah out here is one of our young adults, 16, coming out of Apex, North Carolina, trying to make some headway on this placement course.
That was
and
close.
is she fine? She's okay. She's fine. Okay, that was very, very close there.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure if they were going to give it to her. Oh, no, but she falls back on the dismount. And I see her gripping her face. I hope she didn't bop her head on the bars.
Let's have another look at that if we can try and see. Goes
Oh,
across.
that was close.
We could see there going across the bars. Oh, yeah, I could probably see a bonk possibly on the upper head. Hopefully she's okay. We're getting that checked out at the moment. Doesn't look like that ended the way we really wanted to, but hopefully comes back. Challenge course comes around. Second opportunity for this course. Hopefully we get like an ice pack or something that helps her out. Sort of very close to it. That's not saying anything can happen on a placement course like this. That's a very overlooked aspect in Ninja, I believe. The fact that you can basically get injured on any obstacle that you attempt. But regardless, it's still a very brave thing to go out on a course like this and give it your all. And that's exactly what Aaliyah was doing out there. But it's just unfortunate it had to end quite early in quite a painful way too.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of a universal rule of Ninja, in a way, is that anything can happen at any time. You know, an obstacle that you may overlook, perhaps, such as the monkey bars. You know, you wouldn't normally expect trouble on the monkey bars, something you would probably have been familiar with since you were a child. That can be something that can throw you off, maybe a weird dismount, maybe you whiff a big skip, who knows? But Tina Vihar wants to be finisher number 2, has had a love for the sport, representing Team Level Up.
Here we go, coming out of Greensboro, North Carolina, the town where our World Championships are always held, with Level Up having a very big outcome here for the Carolina Ninja Academy qualifier for the Premier Series, and Tina's down. Oh, mate, what's going on with our placement course? Our amateur females not having the best luck again. Let's have a look at that. It seems like on the second spot there, just didn't have her foot in the center of the step, so it just wasn't able to properly go through with it, sadly.
Yeah. And with that, I believe she is going to be our first runner on the challenge course, though that all depends on what happens in our final run. Still, though, I mean, we're seeing what she's made of after the fact. It was just a simple mistake on balance, which is honestly kind of what can happen on Ninja as well. Balance, it doesn't matter who you are or what you can do. If you slightly misplace your feet on a balance obstacle, it can mess you up.
Bella Zimmerman coming along now, coming out of Boca Raton, Florida, has competed 8 times throughout the regular season of the WNL. Come along through here. Super, very fast. Come along through, has gotten past the steps that have taken out quite a couple of competitors throughout the weekend. Coming along with these monkey bars. Glad to be past that area. Now sprinting all the way forward onto these bars here. A lot of running in this course.
Yeah, she's avenged her coach here, but can she clench the top time? Couple nice laches, clean so far, and then the trapeze, a little bit of a second guess to centralize herself, but the clock is ticking and 5 seconds is not going to be enough, though she's just got to give here. Time's going to run out.
Man,
one of our better finishes.
Yeah, she did very well there, was able to get through the obstacles, no problem, and that ultimately is what's going to get you higher up on the leaderboard due to the fact that we haven't had a clear yet. Actually, no, we haven't had a clear, but it is under review, mind you. But regardless, final amateur female competitor did very well. Bella's going to be running second to last on the challenge course once it's time to get there. But now we're turning the attention over to the amateur male division. First of which, coming out of the adult division, out of Cary, North Carolina, is going to be John Helfenberger. Getting ready to go out here. Very hyped. Let's see how he can fare being the first amateur male on our course.
Yeah, tough being the first runner because you have a lot to live up to for the competitors that come after. The Sonic Curve straight into the ring is moving quickly so far, but these steps much more cautiously through that, and it pays off. John only using a few monkey bars as well, just what he needs to sprint along and hopping straight up into the laches. He's coming fast and furious.
This guy is dashing right here. You can see he's got 15 seconds left. He's moving very fast. We could have our first runner be our first clear for our male division. He's got 10 seconds left as he's making the big run down over to the wall. Goes for the top wall, and he gets to the buzzer. 41.8 seconds. Very impressive from John.
Yeah, setting the bar really high as the competitors to come watch on. You can just see he had his game plan mapped out to a T. Maybe one backswing was the only discrepancy I saw, but yeah, let's look at that warped wall. Is he the first person this weekend to go for the top wall?
I think so. I don't know if that's something that's needed from all of our competitors in the amateur male division. It might be, but if it's a choice, then I respect it even further. But now, Kaysen Douglas, coming out of Stark, Florida, qualified at Rise at the Warehouse last year, our Premier Series that was down in Texas, back here in Florida now. Kaysen doing very well, wanting to get the top time on this placement course. This is blazing fast.
Yeah, nice little Gibbons through the monkey bars. This'll be where his bar tech is tested, and he's just carrying his way through. The trapezes as well, linking out as well. Impressive work. He's gonna beat the Klaxon, Billy.
Here he goes, 15 seconds up to the top wall again. Sub 31. We nearly got a sub 30. 2 runs into our amateur male division. Kaysen Douglas, Kaysen Point. There we go. I got one in. Lovely stuff there. Started competing in the WNL 2 years ago, and he's grown so much since then, up to the point where he's gotten our fastest time so far, and it's a good contender to have the fastest time of the entire division.
I don't believe it. I mean, I knew when he had the jersey that he was going to be someone to look out for, but he pulls away with a very, very impressive time. A strong statement. But can Matt Kalans, on the coattails of that run, follow up with another buzzer, keep the send train rolling?
Here we go. Matt Kalans, age 34, coming out of Holly Springs, North Carolina. On his way through, he's a coach at Warrior Tech OCR in North Carolina as well, so he's got a lot of experience in that regard,
no!
but he's down, possibly? No, he's fine. There we go. He got off of that third step just before it was counted out of bounds, but he still has a trip up, sadly, over the platform. He's going to laugh it off and carry along through to the bars.
Yeah, Matt still has tons of time. Again, OCR, you gotta think that'll help him out here with the bars, because honestly, on OCR, you just throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks. Matt is out of there, though, with 7 seconds, not a ton of time. Let's see if he can get up the wall, but time is looking increasingly more insecure, and time is going to expire for him.
That's going to be it, but still making it to the final obstacle for the walked walls. That was a close call on the third step there, and when he had a trip up after the monkey bars, that didn't help his time, but unfortunately, going to be it for him. And we now have 9 more competitors left, starting with Devin Dennis, coming out of Lutz, Florida, starting Ninja in 2018, so he's got 9 years of experience at age 17. Let's see how Devin can fare.
Yeah, one of our more experienced competitors to begin with. 12 competitions under his forte here. And, ooh, quick steps makes the trapezoids teeter under his weight. Devin, he wants that top time. He's chasing the top of the leaderboard. Going quickly through the bars as well. Grabbing and getting a good pull to not get an extra backswing. Devin, one more obstacle left to go here. Sprinting.
Here he goes.
For victory.
15. Getting to the top of the wall. That's going to be our second fastest time within the second of first place. 31.9 to the buzzer. Brilliant stuff. We can see the pace being established throughout all of these competitors right here. It's lovely to see. I wonder if we're going to get any other fast paces and any people who are going to surpass the first place spot at the moment. We have 8 more opportunities for that to happen, starting with James Rutherford coming out of Hillsborough in North Carolina.
Yeah, James, I believe one of our oldest athletes competing here today, but he's off to the races and going super fast as well. The old dog wants to show the young guns how it's done. But, oh, the steps, yeah, very kind of open on his footwork there. James goes a little bit to the right as well, but he's going to keep that ball rolling as he goes on to the laches. Wants to keep his foot on the gas. Nice as well.
Still going through very fast, though, but we can see time ticking. If you're winning this obstacle with 10 seconds left, it's a do-or-die situation. He's currently our fastest non-finisher so far. He's going to sprint all the way up to the wall walls, going up it, and with only 2 seconds left, makes his way through 42.55 to the buzzer. James Rutherford getting another clear. Love it.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of success break through. Yeah, very kind of over footsteps. I guess there's overhand throwing and over foot stepping. You know, stepped very aggressively to make sure it didn't tip on him. Overall, a very good run. Another finish in the cards. Now we have Gabriel Calnan, Motive School of Movement.
Coming out of Greensville, South Carolina. Motive has had a very large showing out here. Going along through, very careful. Go, oh, 2 moves. Okay, I see you. That was a very, very risky move. Saving a couple of valuable milliseconds with those fast and long movements. Gabriel, though, taking his time on these bars. Actually, no, he's not. He's skipping everything he can here. Pulling back when necessary. 18 seconds. He turns around, ready to take the run up to the wall.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a lot of length on you, Gabriel. The length's gonna help him as he immediately reaches out to the buzzer. 34.14. That puts him 3rd on the leaderboard. Overall, yeah, what a run.
Brilliant. Very, very good stuff. Love the pace being set from Gabriel there. One of our faster times coming in 3rd place at the minute, but it can all change with our final 6 runners. Anything can happen on a placement course. You can have the fastest time or you can fail early. That's already happened throughout this weekend. We'll see Jace Smith coming out of Hillsborough, North Carolina. He trains at the US Challenge in Durham and Warrior Tech OCR in Morrisville. And here he goes, using all that experience to the best of his ability.
Yeah, Jay's
No! Is he okay?
Oh, the hand. Give it to him. Oh no, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's always specified at the beginning of the demo run what's on, what's off. He honestly, I think he would have had it if that were hands allowed, but hands are off on that specified obstacle. So Jace looks like he's going to be running towards the beginning of the amateur male division on the challenge course. That was cool.
Very solid, but sadly going out on the first few obstacles there. That crisscross, definitely no joke, but regardless, just going to have to keep on moving through. But now we have Jeffrey Beam coming out of Chapin, South Carolina. One of our masters taking up to the plate now at age 47. I believe he's the oldest that we have got in our division out here for our amateurs here today. Actually, no, I lied. That's the second oldest, I believe. We have one in the 60s that we're going to be seeing very shortly. But Jeffrey here, really going to want to make up a good show here. Try and compete with the young guns, nearly half his age in the amateur division. Here we go.
Yeah, I would say even more than half, because he's 47 and we have competitors as young as 15 here today. So yeah, Jeffrey, hopefully we can see him show up for all the masters watching at home that want to see some veterans rise up, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Just taking a bit of time to make sure everything is ready for our course to be set for Jeffrey. It's going to be a very, very fun time for him. I love the amateur division due to the age diversity that we get to see throughout. We have some young guns up and coming who might want to go elite in the future. We have veterans such as Flip and Megan in their 30s. People like Jeffrey in their 40s out here. But then we have Presley coming in at age 62 in just a couple of runs, which is very exciting to see. We'll be seeing him after Flip runs. But regardless, all of our athletes are going to be wanting all of the best for each other.
Yeah, that's true. Very cutthroat competition as well, because obviously we've seen some age groups where there were only 4 or less athletes in attendance. But in this case, the amateur female division has 5. So you really don't want to be 5th place there. That would be very, very unfortunate. And then the amateur male obviously having significantly more means that a lot of competitors are going to get beat out of the running. So, you know, there is that.
This is going to be big here. 5 more athletes. Anyone can take home the top time if they really put their mind to it. They know what they're up against. They know what's at stake on the placement course. Getting to get that later run order in the challenge course can be a very good advantage. Seeing a lot of people go on obstacles before you, learning the beta that they put on show. We're going to have to see very shortly if it all comes together for these athletes.
Yeah, though at the same time, funny enough, we've had quite a few cases of someone who runs first on the challenge course in this qualifier alone qualify for the Premier Series finals. So, you know, anything can happen.
Indeed it can. When we get to our challenge course later on in the competition, that's where even more stakes start to come in, because we have like 12 amateur males out here, around that number, I want to say. Hang on, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Yeah, 12. 12 amateur males, 5 females, 17 in total. They're all going to be going on the challenge course later on, and only 8 of them, 4 for the females, 4 for the males, are going to be able to go to the Premier Series finals, which are happening at Ascend Obstacle Training in Marlborough, Massachusetts. It's going to be an absolutely incredible time. The challenge course is going to consist of every athlete getting 2 retries on the course, but you can only utilize a retry 1 time on an obstacle. It's going to be very exciting. So many different opportunities for different moves, different pieces of technique being showcased. And in terms of the placement course, it's just go fast as you can to try and be careful with your run, and overall getting a good result. It can be very beneficial to you in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. This one is definitely more focused and more centralized on the sort of OCR skill sets that Kevin kind of loves so much. However, the challenge course is one more of endurance, one that tends to pump you out, make you feel the burn. But looks like we're finally going to be getting back into it. Jeffrey Boehm about to get this show back on the road. The show will go on.
Here we go, age 47, one of our masters onto our placement course now. 45 seconds for Jeffrey to come along through here. Doing very, very smoothly. Jumping out to that ring. Needs to be careful on these steps here.
Rocking the
Nice,
series ones, and they help him out.
Indeed so. That's one of the cleanest runs I've seen on the stone.
Oh,
Just
that
misses.
one hand for much longer, and his only point of contact peels out.
Oh, you could see there. His thumb went, and then the fingers went afterward. Super unfortunate there, but you can see he's moving through with a great pace on the bars here. Jeffrey may be one of our older competitors, but he can still keep hold of these young athletes within the same type of skill that they've got as well. And Jeffrey, going to be one of our earlier runners on the challenge course, but that doesn't mean he's one to not look out for. I think big things could happen from him if he really puts his mind to what he's doing here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But we're down to our final four. This is going to be Benjamin Leslie representing the Strictly Ninja Gym in Lilburn, Georgia. He's been doing Ninja for 5 years and wants to make good on that experience. He's off to a blazing start, fitting as he has a flame on his back. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
The balance takes him out!
Benjamin
No!
Leslie, sadly down and out quite early there. You could see there 1, 2, and then the second step is mainly the culprit for all the people that are going down on that obstacle. But he was moving through. Benjamin going to be going even earlier in the placement course than everyone else so far. So we might see a very good result to start the challenge course on, but that's still unfortunate that he wasn't able to get further in the course there.
Yeah, I think we'll be in for a good run, considering his preference of burnout courses over speed. But for the here and now, here's someone that needs no introduction, Flip Rodriguez. Can you believe he's only missed 2 seasons of the show? 2?
It's insane. Yeah, he's had so much experience throughout his years starting Ninja in 2011 and still pioneering the sport as he is today. Very close on those steps. Flip, using his experience, he's the head coach at the lab out in Florida, and he's dashing across the floor to get to the laches.
Yeah, back in his heyday when he first started, he was known as a speed demon on the TV show, and he doesn't want to let up here. Grabbing that, getting a mixed grip on the trapeze with 15 seconds. Hanging up with the best of them. Flip up the warp wall and finishes with 34.66. Flip Rodriguez, the OG speed demon, does it again.
Lovely stuff there. You can tell he's getting better with age, I believe, as he's passing down to these younger generations as well. Being one of their coaches, that he wants to put in a good showing for not just himself, but the kids that he coaches as well. Leading by good example. He did very, very well there. We're going to see him in the challenge course, as well as all of our other competitors, including our oldest athlete that we have today, Mark Presley, at age 62.
Wow, yeah. Oldest competitor I think I've seen all season. Mark doing well so far. The second step, no, he was too far to the right.
Mark Presley came in storming through there throughout all the obstacles. Didn't want to stop for anything, but that second step just isn't being too kind to all of our athletes here. But he's moving through the rest of the obstacles at a very efficient pace, and I'm excited to see all of these early fails go out. Not go out, but like attempt the challenge course later on, because they have the retries available. It's more endurance based. You don't have to be all frantic and squirrely with where you're going in the speed sense of things. But still, regardless, unfortunate that Mark went out early, but he's still putting up great results no matter what. Well done to him. He's competed 10 times throughout the season regularly, so he's very dedicated. But now we're moving on to our final competitor, another student coming out of the lab. It's going to be Mark Satterwhite. coming out of Boca Raton in Florida, part of the Lab Elite team, trains with Flip and Megan. There is coaches out there getting ready to go. The final athlete of our placement course.
Yeah, Mark just saw his coach pull away with one of the top times. Let's see if Mark can do like coach, like student. From here, the third obstacle. This one can be taken for granted, though. Quick, fast, and furious steps. Mark, fast as lightning. Now taking the sprint down to the final two obstacles. Mark.
Here he moves, 25 seconds, he's popping through. This is a very good speedy technique that we see the best of the best go on. He's taking an extra backswing on that trapeze, wanted to underbar it like he did the first, but regardless, he's sprinting along through. Absolutely brilliant. Mark Satterwhite climbing up to the top of the rock walls in 5th place there. 35.42 seconds, a brilliant way to round out our incredible placement course that we've just seen in front of us.
Yeah, puts him right next to his coach on the leaderboard. 5th place, 4th place. Again, like coach, like student, Mark. Very, very impressive run. He'll be a name to look out for going forward into the challenge course. But yeah, 7 finishers out of 12. They really showed up here today, Billy.
They did. We had 7 out of 12 clears, a very solid ratio. Case and Douglas holding down the fort the whole time with 31.17 seconds. One of our earliest runners taking home the top time. But our first competitor is going to be Mark Presley, our 62-year-old powerhouse, going to be running first once we go down to the male challenge course. Well done to our females as well, with Faith Trest being our fastest competitor, our only clear in the female division. But Tina Vahar is going to be going first due to her being the slowest, earliest on the placement course there. So we have a lot to look forward to coming into our challenge course with a lot to expect.
Yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes, so stay tuned.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, CO and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Want to train like a pro? DGS Ninja has you covered with obstacles designed by top athletes. Kevin Carbone, Matt Bradley, Tom Alberti, and Brett Sims. Whether you're dialing in your technique at the gym or training at home, DGS Ninja equipment is built for performance, durability, and safety. Train with confidence. Train with DGS Ninja. Find obstacles, rigs, mats, and more on dgsninja.com.
Has this ever happened to you? Where's my truck at? Ooh, I have a solution for that. Slab chalks! You take the chalk ball, put it in the mesh pocket, zip it up, slap, and get your chalk. Slab trucks are made right here in Springdale, Arkansas at Interform, the small batch manufacturing company. We're helping our community and providing local jobs to minorities and women of diverse backgrounds. I'm Joseph Rao, Ninja Warrior, rock climber, and the CEO of Slap Chalks.
Here at Stage 4 Designs, we are all about innovation and athlete safety. We've been doing this since 2015, designing the most innovative obstacles in the sport. And now with our partnership with the World Ninja League, we are very excited to bring some of our best designs to the highest level athletes in the world. For our process, it all kind of starts right here in our digital design. There's a much more deliberate process now in what we do, with our goal being the utmost in athlete safety. So we put everything into our digital design first, make sure it's all going to work, then we procure the parts. We learned the process and refined it to what we feel are some of the highest quality urethane products you're going to find in the Ninja space, and that all happens here at our custom built workbench. A lot goes into our urethane, and we are very proud of the work that we do there. Everything that we build here at Stage 4 is all custom made in-house. It's not like we have a stock of a bunch of stuff. So when you do place an order with us, that order comes through and we basically build everything from scratch. Paint department is scalable. We basically hand paint most things, but some things that require a little bit more spray or bigger, we're capable of that as well. These athletes put these obstacles through some of the most rigorous circumstances that you could think of, and we want to try to plan for every contingency. We never want an obstacle to break on anybody. We always want our stuff to feel solid and not move around a whole lot, so that the athletes can trust their skills to throw the biggest moves that they possibly can on anything that we put out there. Our CNC machine handles all of most of our flat goods. It's the workhorse around here. It actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of cutting things out. We don't do any of our flat goods by hand. We make sure that everything is exactly the same and replicable, so that, you know, if you're doing courses or you have athletes that are going either head to head or the same obstacle that you're going to find at one Ninja gym is going to feel exactly the same if you go to another Ninja gym or your home for that matter, so that there's consistency with all of our product. Over the years, as we've added to our suite of products that we offer, we realized that pipe and metalworking is becoming more and more commonplace in Ninja obstacles, and to meet that demand, we've added the ability to do that here as well. So a lot of the obstacles that you'll see that we design and develop are meant to go on truss, and pipes are a big part of that. So we've added a pipe bending station here, and look for, in the future, us to offer a lot more innovative obstacles that kind of exist in that space where pipes are a big part of it. So here, everything that we put out is tested by real ninjas before it goes out. We want to make sure that our obstacles can stand all sorts of unforeseen circumstances. We know that Ninja athletes move in ways that are innovative and new, and we want to try to account for as many of those as we can and make sure that those obstacles hold up. So we test everything. Over the last 10 years, Stage 4 Designs has been committed to developing the most innovative obstacles that you're going to find, but also the safest and most reliable obstacles. Our motto here is elevating obstacles. We do feel that on this platform, we can take something that's both fun and creative, but also elevate it to an industry that deserves to stand on its own.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the WNL Premier Series Season 4 Qualifier out here at Carolina Ninja Academy in North Carolina. My name is Billy Dixon. I am joined alongside Kane Malden here today for the Amateur Division. We just wrapped up the placement course, and we're now heading into the Challenge course.
Yeah, that's right. And we had a lot of success, a little bit of variance in the results as well, which was interesting. I think a little more interesting than if we had had a clean sweep straight up. But with that said, we're going straight into the demo run. Wow, quick.
Yes, we are. We're going to be having a look at what's to come throughout our courses here, starting out with some parkour blocks and then some big grip swings out here, with ending with that forehammer. Love the cameo there. And then we head on over to one of the biggest crux points of the weekend, which is don't touch my blocks.
Yeah, compared to the youth divisions, my goodness, it's even taller than before. Looks like they've added a Lego, so to speak, to the top of that stack. But from there, the turbo rollers, I'm sure they spin as they do. And then the wavy bar, that shouldn't be a problem for our amateurs. But then comes the bananas.
Here we go. This is a lot of people in the teen division were having some trouble with this one, particularly with ejecting the former banana and hooking it in, due to the fact that it's such a difficult and precise move, particularly when you're in the air. But regardless, we move on to some cliffhanger moves here with some big moves with that trapeze in the middle to then get further ahead onto some bogeys that are higher up onto a bar, and then we dismount accordingly. Moving along on to our next obstacle, which is named Gravity is Real, which I think is a statement, but regardless, it's some bar tech where you need to hook the flying bar into those two swinging cradles, and then we dismount over to the salmon ladder bar and make a salmon ladder move to then go on to the balance maze that's going to be right after it.
Yeah, just a couple rails, but again, balance being the great equalizer of Ninja, you can never overlook it, or you'll find out why you shouldn't do that.
Having a look at what's next, though, it's one of the biggest moves in the entire course, I think. Moving along on to the TikTok. It's called the swoop talk because you literally swoop over to the TikTok. It's a really weird obstacle, in my personal opinion, to actually get the grasp of what's going on. But then afterward is going to be some skyhook moves, some techie obstacles at the end of this course here. Having a look at what's to come. We have some big moves that our athletes are going to have to make in the big sky area over this airbag. A couple more skyhook moves to be made after that one that our tester narrowly missed out on. But regardless, it's one of the biggest moves in the entire comp.
Yeah, no kidding. Ring tech, I guess. What would a good challenge course be without some weird object tech? If not with a ring, then with a bar or whatever. And you have to twist that as well, which is proper bonkers. Notice the straps as well to stop you from doing the skip.
Yeah, basically, it's a really difficult one to properly get the grasp of, but now you're going to be tired. Your arms are going to be screaming at you, but we then have a massive rope that's name is literally called Are You Tired Yet? With a question mark. And then we're having a look at our tester here climbing up the rope. Your arms are going to be spent at the end of this, and you have to climb all the way up when time is ticking to hit the buzzer that's hanging upside down. We've had some crazy runs end narrowly either missing or getting to the buzzer, but it's going to be huge to see who overall comes away with one of those Premier Series finalist slots. So they got to get the top 4 position in each of their divisions there. So for the females, out of the 5 that are competing, only 4 will advance. And out of the amateur males, out of the 12 that are competing, only 4 will advance. So we're literally cutting down the field, which is crazy to think because we're taking the top 25% of all athletes anyway, and we're whittling them down even further. So we're really getting the cream of the crop to go to finals that are happening in November.
Absolutely. The best of the best to the best of the best of the best. So who knows who's going to pull away with this? This is anyone's game. However, for the amateur female, with 5 competitors, it's going to be tense for one competitor in particular, and her name is Tina Vihar, because for everyone else, they're going to know what they need to do to secure a Premier Series slot. But for Tina, that is an unknown factor. So Yeah, nothing is going to be guaranteed for her. What she puts up in her run, the rest of our competitors are going to, at the very minimum, beat. Or Tina will be safe.
Tina out here is 5'10" and has a 5'11" long wingspan, 150 pounds. Started Ninja in 2019, just before COVID, and she first fell in love with the sport after watching an A&W marathon weekend during a rainy stay at a beach house when she was 5. Honestly, very valid. I just stayed at a beach house this last week, honestly, and it was a great time, but we didn't have any internet, so we couldn't watch any Ninja, even if I tried to convince my 7 friends who were staying there to watch Ninja when we didn't have internet anyway. But regardless, Tina here is getting ready to go. Gonna be a very, very fun time. She's been trying it after trying it at a few local gyms, or a few times at a local gym in Long Island, New York. She started taking regular classes after her family moved back to Greensboro in North Carolina. Now that is where our World Championships are headed every single year for every division. So Tina out here, very experienced with the WNL, coming out and level up too. So here she goes, setting the precedent for our amateurs to start.
Yeah, Team Level Up been very supportive and very active in this competition. I believe we can see Chad Hone, the owner of Level Up, with the chalk bag. So Tina, hoping to perform at her very best, make her home gym proud, and the people watching in the chat. Now, nicely sliding across, but now when you cut the feet, yeah, you really have to give in, put your core, really engage it. But now Tina, she's been to every World Championships at the Greensboro Coliseum.
Oh.
The turbo rollers being one of those obstacles she would have had to look out for. She gets through it, though.
This is brilliant so far from Tina. I'm loving the pace. No retries used yet either, but she's going to chalk up and get ready for one of the first big tests, which is the picking fruits here with the bananas in play. People have had trouble with this one, but let's see how she can fare moving into it.
Yeah, that's true. Again, she knows the stakes. She has to put up the best run she can so that she can hopefully beat out the 4 competitors that are still to come. She is able to get through the bananas without a hitch. But now these cliffs, her arms and her core and her legs have been tested, but not the fingers. So this is going to be a full body workout for Tina. The lower body also imperative to help with the swing, the trapeze.
Here we go. 1 minute and 40 seconds. Pushing along through. She's got it. Not a problem so far. She's moving very efficiently here. So Tina Bahar taking some chalk. Getting ready to go for a very techie bar obstacle. We've seen a lot of people use a retry on this one due to the fact that it's so hard to get that bar into the cradles first try. Let's see how Tina is able to fare. A massive backswing. The force is up and she hangs it. Love it.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're in business, Billy. But there's one more bar tech in store for Tina. Though it's a typical salmon ladder one. She lands it crooked, but that may be adequate enough.
Careful with it sliding, but just as it slides to the right side of her, she's doing okay. So here we move. 50 seconds left as she pulls along through onto the balance maze, and she's okay as we now move along up to the big airbags, ready for the swoop tuck. This is a big move here. A lot of body movement needed in all areas, especially in this first area where you need to reel in the trapeze to then pull on through onto that TikTok later on. But time is ticking. I don't know if a clear is still in question, but she can definitely get one of the best results in her division if she carries on like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Getting through the bar tech, that's huge. She's a little too far back, didn't get enough distance, and the TikTok escapes her. So she's going to have one more attempt on this obstacle. With that said, though, she's putting up a very impressive run, putting together some big moves that'll hopefully give her the best chance she can have.
This is going to be big now. She has only 15 seconds left. She reels in that trapeze as fast as she can. Ready for the impact. Time ticking, though. Tries to get to the TikTok second time around, and she nearly had it, but just misses with her feet, and that's going to be the end of her run. What a great way to start things out for our amateur division as a whole there. Such great skill on display.
Absolutely. Well, great skill we're never in shortage of in Premier Series. Look at that hop. Had such great control of the bar. Even with landing at crooked, she was able to get out of there. And I think that performance may very well be enough to secure her in the Premier Series finals. But we're going to see with our 4 competitors coming up, starting with Megan Budway, our very own fellow commentator. Now she's on the floor competing, and we're the ones calling her run.
Here we go. Had an unfortunate early finish on the placement course from earlier, but she's definitely going to want to salvage it here. Megan, very confident, a lot of experience on any ninja course. A coach at the lab out in Florida, got a large team behind her today that she's been coaching yesterday and today. And here she is actually taking on the obstacles herself. So she would have had a lot of time to think about her plan throughout these obstacles, particularly on ones like this where you need to use all of your body. But Megan not having a problem so far, going along down the descent, not having a problem here. 2 minutes and 45 as she lines up for the turbo rolls.
Yeah, making good time, very efficient through it as well. And you know the saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. She's taking it kind of slow on the turbo rollers, which is a little rickety, but the rickety rollers do not give her any trouble.
It seemed like she wanted to test how far they would spin as well. So as soon as she figured out, if you don't like go fully forward on them, then you can take a bit of time on them. And that's exactly what she did, and it worked for her on turbo rolls. But now here she is on bananas, going through. She's had a lot of experience on obstacles like this, and it's paying off. Oh, but sadly drops down, it looks like, losing a bit of grip on her forefront hand. So Megan taking her first retry here. She has to get through this obstacle if she wants to carry on.
Oh, that's unfortunate, but can be salvaged, can be recovered. It's all up to if she can get through this on her second go, though. Remember, you have 2 retries, but you cannot use both of them on the same obstacle, so she has to beat it on this attempt.
Megan Budway, 2 minutes left on the clock. Really hoping she hangs on tight here. She's got a high grab on those bananas as well, which is good. Gets past the part where she fell last time, keeping hold of it. Got it on. Here she goes, a minute 45 as she makes the dismount. She's able to carry on. Come on, Megan.
Yeah, Megan. It's going to be tough to get to Tina's time at this stage in the game, but if she can get distance, that will do her wonders on the leaderboard. Again, the goal is to evade being number 5 on the leaderboard, and Megan, if she can truck through the next obstacle, that will help a lot.
Here she goes. She's eyeing up the bar. Doesn't take much time to rest up. She knows that she has to go if she wants to get one of those big final slots, and just comes up short on the flying bar, sadly. Gonna have to use her second and final retry here. She has to make it through the next obstacle here, which is Gravity is Real, in order to make it through to the rest of the course now. This is big. She's got Flip on the sideline. 1 minute and 5 seconds left for the whole course. Come on, Megan.
Megan building it up once more. This is the scene of the crime where she fell on her final retry.
Yes!
She gets it, though. That was the hard move, but she's not out of the woods yet.
Ooh.
This salmon ladder hop, she cut it close to the ground. Yeah, I know,
Come
Billy.
on. Yes, Megan. Making her way through. Needs a massive swing to get onto that platform, and she makes it. This is brilliant. 38 seconds coming into bounds. No more retries after this part. Needs to make sure she has some solid foot dexterity, and she's down, sadly. Just loses her balance on that second pole transfer. But still, very good perseverance. She put her all into that run. I'm very happy she was able to get there. One of our WNL commentators doing us proud.
Exactly, yeah. Showing us exactly why the retry system is a thing on these challenge courses. She fell on the bananas, but also this bar tech. And with the retries that were provided to her, she was able to better her performance and get past a crux point that may very well be the stopgap for many of our ninjas here.
Here we go. Massive opportunities here with Elia Fitzgerald next up on the course coming out of Apex in North Carolina. It's going to be a very big task for all 3 of our amateur females to get deep into this course. We know how difficult it is. We've seen how little have made it really deep throughout the entirety of this weekend. So let's see if our remaining amateur females are able to pull on through here.
Yeah, absolutely. So as of now, Tina is safe. She's going to the Premier Series finals. Now Megan is on the bubble. We'll see if her performance holds up amongst our final 3. But Alaya, she wants to break the mold and be our first finisher. I can already tell. She wants that spot. She wants to go to Ascend.
This is going to be a big one here. Let's see how she fares. Age 16, running along this course very quickly so far. Wants to try and get as big as an advantage as she can. Pulling along through the rest of these holds here. 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Pulling along. Is she fine?
Yeah.
Yes, she is. That was very, very close, though. I like the effort of skipping that final hammer, but it cost her a tiny bit of time for the judge to clarify that she made it through. But she's still moving on at a very solid pace here, going on to the top of Don't Touch My Blocks here. Now needs to be careful on the descent.
Yeah, had me a little bit concerned. Her ponytail was hanging dangerously close to that block. Well, I don't think that's actually part of your person, so I don't think that would count. But Alaya, the turbo rollers, now testing the waters, dipping a toe into the unknown. Alaya, nice. Keeping the center of mass super close to those rollers as well to keep them under wraps.
I'm liking the trend that we're seeing out of our female division, going slower on those roller rolls, being a bit more careful, because we've seen people dash upon them and they end up on the floor, sadly. So hopefully a bunch of our females who are coming up later are able to pull on through that one. But now, moving on to the bananas, this is a tricky one. We've seen some retries be taken on this obstacle and some people go out on them within the weekend. But Aaliyah out here sadly just misses that circle on a second try, trying to come on through the second time around.
Yeah, the ring that you hooked the bananas into was kind of in an inopportune place. And once you start missing, it can be tough to recover, because if you get it swinging all cattywamped, you know, it's going to be tough to hook through a moving target.
Indeed it will be. She's got 1 minute and 50 seconds left to go. Pushing along through onto that first slot. Aaliyah Fitzgerald wants to get redemption on this one a lot here. 1 minute and 30. Those hands are slowly slipping down the bananas. Tries to re-grab, and she's missed that last hold. No! And she suddenly drops down. Aaliyah Fitzgerald down and out on picking fruit. That's an unfortunate outcome for her. She was moving so smooth throughout the rest of the course, too.
Yeah, that's true. It's just what can happen if you get hung up on those bananas or any hanging obstacle like that, is that if you miss and you start making mistakes, then all your weight is going to be put upon one hand. And while that is more forgiving than a nunchuck, the bananas don't give you a lot of purchase. Still, though, we'll see if that will be adequate enough for a Premier Series final slot as we move on to our second to last runner in the amateur female division. This is Bella Zimmerman.
Coming out of Boca Raton in Florida, we've got Flip on the sideline. She's going to be coming out of the lab here in Florida. Bella not having a problem so far going across the first obstacle. Now let's see how her grip game is. Here she goes. She was our fastest non-finisher on the placement course from earlier. So she's got a lot of speed and a lot of redemption that she wants to get. Having a bit of trouble grabbing that penultimate hold there, but on the hammer, she regains her confidence and is now going to carry along through with just over 3 minutes left coming on to the blocks.
Yeah, climbing quickly upon the ascending portion of the rig. It's kind of like a truss that you have to climb upon. Yeah, look at that ponytail. It almost hit the block. Sheesh. Luckily, this isn't
solid so far. Darts her legs down in a straight line diagonally, basically, to avoid the blocks being touched. But here she goes, 2 minutes and 35 seconds as she rounds out on turbo rolls, taking her out the first time. She's going to have to use a retry quite early in the course now.
Yeah, I hope she's okay. Might have hit the shin as well on the turbo rollers. When they reject you like that, you never know where your feet are going to go. But Bella, Her second and final attempt, she's fielded out, and no, the third one roller further than where she fell on her first go. Balance always so tricky for our ninjas.
Super unfortunate there. We were really, really close to getting Bella sadly down and out quite early on the turbo rolls, as we now cater the attention around to our final competitor in the amateur female division. It's going to be our final one, our fastest, our only clear, as a matter of fact, on the placement course. She's out here jumping on the start line. Faith Trest, ladies and gentlemen, come on!
All right, Faith. Yeah, our final run was also, I believe, our first on the placement course, but this time around, she'll be the final run, sort of a bookend sort of competitor. But Faith lives at Motive School of Movement, basically considers it her second home almost, which, hearing about her home gym like that, she's really dedicated, goes from the potato to the hammer, and now Faith. Oh, we're seeing quite the difference in speed and technique here. Faith, our only finisher, I guess that's to be expected.
Doing a very solid job at the moment. Not only is she very skilled, she's also a very thoughtful and kind individual. She likes to help out with special needs kids at her school and help them to learn to be as independent as possible. And she even got to take them to the Special Olympics for her county this year, which is absolutely incredible to see. But now here she is on the bananas, hoping to do her colleagues proud out here. Faith Trest, age 16, coming out of Simpsonville, is sadly slipping on the bananas. Okay, retry gonna have to be used quite early here.
Yeah, I wonder what that was about. Maybe an inopportune grip or resting all the weight on one hand. Again, those bananas aren't as forgiving a hold as, say, a horizontal pipe or whatnot. So, okay, let's spin it again. Let's hope she can make that hook on her second go. Maybe it was the chalk.
Here she goes. Possibly. She's got a high grab on the bananas, trying to get as much control as she can, but she's having a bit of trouble taking it in here. That impact. She's grimacing a bit. Hopefully she's able to redeem herself coming into the end of it. Trying to keep a solid rhythm, skipping that final one, setting it up, and she's got it! Come on, Faith!
Oh, yeah, Faith didn't want to rely on that hand again. Opted to go for a crazy move that pays off on her final attempt as well. Requires some serious bravery.
Loses a bit of a momentum coming into that trapeze, but she's going to grab back onto that cliff to gain some momentum. Reaching out on those bogeys at the top there. She's got 1 minute and 30 seconds dismounting down to the box as she now transfers over to Gravity is Real.
Yeah, she's made it to the Premier Series finals, but you know she wants better than that. This is a run for placement on the podium and for pride for her home gym. She's already done well on the placement course, but can she make this bar tech move when it counts? She can't! No, too low, and it bopped the end of the cradle, the hook, so to speak.
Gonna have to take a second try here. Her final retry allowed. She has to make it past this obstacle. She's chalking up, ready to go. She was our only clear on the placement course. I don't know if a clear is still in question here on challenge, but she's still going to try and pull on through regardless. Here she goes. Second time around, she gets it.
Oh, nice to see as well. We've seen a lot of competitors struggle with that move. I believe Megan has had the exact retry situation that Faith has had. But Faith, on her second go, makes good on her retry, and that puts her into second place. Faith, guaranteed a silver medal.
50 seconds left now. Gonna try and want to make it gold. She's a bit tired, though. I think both of those retries might have taken a bit more energy out of her compared to if she wasn't going to use them. But now 38 seconds, has to make the swoop talk first time around if she wants a shot at getting to the sky hooks. This is a big moment for her. We could be seeing the best result of our amateur female division happen right here. Swinging along through and sadly just misses with the foot, and that's her finish.
Yeah, she was so close as well to the top run. Only a margin of, what, 0.3 seconds, give or take? Yeah, but look at that skip. If there's anything to take away from that run, it's what she just did there. Maybe something our amateur males can look at. and then on the balance rails, tackled it with reckless abandon, an obstacle that gave one of our previous athletes trouble, and she was able to defeat it. And that will put her in second place, guaranteeing her into the Premier Series finals.
Indeed so. Well done to Tina, Faith, Megan, and Aliyah for getting through to the Premier Series finals for our amateur female division out here. But now it is time for the fellas with the amateur male division. But now we're going to be starting out with our oldest competitor of the weekend, with Mark Presley, age 62. Out here, had unfortunately the earliest elimination on the placement course from earlier, but here he is, first up on challenge. He's seen the women go, hopefully gets a bit more of a spark in his step here, knowing what has to be done and seeing it commence right in front of him. Hopefully Mark is able to impress us out here. Let's have it.
Yeah, hopefully we can get the show on the road. We have a lot more amateur competitors still up to go. Hopefully what we just saw is a sign of things to come, and we can get our first amateur finisher within these next few runners. I mean, we saw a lot of competitors who went out very, very early on the placement course. People who I honestly think are capable of going the distance.
I am as well. We saw a lot of fast athletes in the placement course. We saw 7 out of 12 buzzers, which was great to see. I wonder if we're going to see any more happen in this challenge course. There's big potential for this. We have a lot of great athletes, a lot of experience across the board, a lot of people, especially in the case of someone like Flip Rodriguez, just saw his partner, Megan Budway, pull along through and get third place even, in the amateur female division. So I'm sure that Flip is going to be wanting to join her out here. But then we have our fastest clear of the placement course, Kaysen Douglas, pull along through. He trains out of the Rock Ninja Warrior Academy out in Florida. His dream is to compete on A&W and be a world champion. On the course to that, he can definitely become the Premier Series champion out here for Carolina Ninja Academy. And that could also be the case coming into our Premier Series finals if he gets there.
Absolutely. Again, most of these early competitors fell on a balance obstacle as well. That's another thing. Balance, I don't think if you fail on balance is a good measure of how skilled you really are as a ninja competitor, because anyone can fail on balance. Look at the turbo rollers. That's a perfect example. You know who failed the turbo rollers? Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith failed the turbo rollers. Elite ninjas such as him. And yeah, I don't think that's a fair assessment of how skilled a ninja really can be, because a slight misplacement in where your feet can be, that can be the difference between getting through the obstacle and falling. So yeah, I think we'll get a proper gauge of just how capable these ninjas really are. Also, hello.
11 obstacles on our course. I'm pretty sure all of them have taken some retries from many athletes across the entirety of this weekend so far. We still have some more athletes still to come, though. We have not only our amateur male division right here that are going to be taking on these 11 obstacles. We have the elite division, our final division of the weekend, commencing at 4:30 Eastern time. That's going to be about 2 hours and a quarter, I believe, if my time zones are serving me all right, because I'm in Britain and time zones suck. But regardless, we're seeing out here our elite starting very soon, and along with our amateurs in a couple minutes. We also have got a bunch more competitions. Next week is a massive one out at Vitality Obstacle Fitness that's going to be happening on the 29th and the 30th of August. Cannot wait for that one. It's going to be huge. We take a week out and then we head over into the UK for another one of our internationals, the first one since Australia, at True Function Ninja Training Ground in Swindon in the UK. Life Force Ninja the week after in Washington, Dexterity Depot in Pennsylvania, District 44 in France, Albany Ninja Lab in New York, Fitset Ninja in Canada, and the M Lab in Ohio, and Ascend Obstacle Training's finals, which are going to be happening at the incredible facility in Massachusetts, their new one in Marlborough, Massachusetts as well, that is just over a year old at this point, November 20th through to the 22nd. Mark your calendars, guys. It's going to be absolutely insane when that happens. We've had already some incredible athletes qualify from Ninja U, AWF, Motus, Next Level, and Austin Ninjas, with Carolina Ninja Academy currently in the process of giving people the ability to go out to the Premier Series finals. But still, we have 8 more qualifiers until we get to the desired location. It's getting close now. I like it at the beginning of the season when we can just talk about all of the upcoming qualifiers. We've nearly cut it in half now, and it's making me sad. I want more Premier Series.
Yeah, and more Premier Series we will get as the months progress. We're just under 3 months away from the Premier Series finals, so we still got a long way to go at the very least, if anything.
Indeed, we do. It's a while to get there. It can't come soon enough. It's a big deal out there for the Massachusetts gang and the worldwide ninja gang, to be honest. It's a huge deal. So much to talk about once we get over to that point. It's a massive one. So many people come out. We saw the popularity at Motus's finals last year. Everything was nearly maxed out when it came to the athletes that went. There was like 40 like minimum for so many divisions there. And I tell you, people are going to be wanting to come to the Ascend, the new Ascend. It's big. We had Ferox that was huge at the beginning, Life Force, which was revolutionary, Motus, which had a new facility, and now Ascend with a new facility as well. So I think it's absolutely insane that we keep getting peak venues for our finals locations, and the people out here in the amateur division at Carolina Ninja Academy are really going to be wanting to pull on through to get one of those spots. And it looks like we're going to be heading into our first runner of the amateur male division, now starting out the 12 that we've got Mark Presley, age 62, on the course.
Yeah, it's great to see that age isn't really a factor when it comes to being a proficient ninja. Mark, off to the races. He takes hold of that first aptly named hold, and now he is moving right along. Now this potato from the hemisphere, a lot of slopey stuff on this obstacle that keeps your hands a little more open. Mark now faces the third obstacle. This one you really have to tuck in. It's foreboding. It's given our youth athletes a lot of trouble. And now keeping the core up mere inches away from the fail plane.
He's up at the top of the rig at the minute. 2 minutes and 40 seconds as Mark is making his way down the obstacle, making good time so far. He's now got to shake out, get ready for the turbo rolls. A lot of fast dexterity out here needed out of Mark, which he sadly isn't able to run into at that time. Sadly, gonna have to take his first retry here.
Yeah, hit a bit of a snag on that first go. Again, they spin, but they only spin a little bit. So maybe stepping a little far back is key here, because it lets your feet carry forward without going too far forward. Mark! He tried to go for broke hopping for the trapeze, just couldn't get there.
I respect the effort out there at age 62, repping the Masters out here in Premier Series. Did an incredible job doing so, but the turbo rollers, they're definitely not easy. We've established this many a time as they've showed up throughout the years, but still great way to start things out from Mark Presley, still doing great things at an old age. We also just got word that out of the, you can see like the potato rock looking thing on the right side of your screen, it's apparently a coffee bean out here. I thought it was a peanut personally, so take that for what you will.
I'm glad we all are having conflicting opinions on that. But Benjamin Leslie, our second run, another competitor who fell on balance that I was talking about. But Benjamin, we know he was moving super fast, and he's been doing ninja for 5 years. He also likes a whole lot of things. Not a big fan of the slack line, so I guess, you know, balance. It is what it is. He does like his burnout courses, so I wonder how that'll come into play here. This is a very burnout-y course.
Indeed it is. Not only is he great at burnout, he also qualified for the WNL head-to-head World Championships twice, because this year wasn't the first time we held some. We held one at Ninja Mania out in 2025, but now here he is. Benjamin was moving incredibly fast after he failed the placement course as well early on. So we have a lot of potential from here, but it looks like for the fellas, it's now cannonballs instead of bananas. That's definitely a difficulty buff.
Yeah, and also very unfruit-like. I guess you could make a bit of a stretch and say it's an apple, but Benjamin always gonna go for a skip. I think this is a move a lot of ninjas are gonna be utilizing, and it pays off for Benjamin. No retries spent, doing strictly ninjas proud, and these cliffs lay wake here. Oh, no trapeze, is that? No way.
No, and they spin as well? Okay, this is interesting. For the teen division, we didn't have any trapezes in play for this obstacle, but we didn't have the bogey spinning from my memory. That's actually insane. Benjamin out here having to pull on through now, 1 minute and 53 seconds as he gets the pull through onto that cliff. As he now gears himself up for his second attempt at these bogeys. Is he going to be able to get it second time around? No, the fingers just aren't able to hang on, sadly, and that's going to be Benjamin down and out.
Wow, no way. That seems like such a big difficulty spike. Benjamin was moving so strong up to that point. To do the skip on the cannonballs is also very admirable, but the cliffs, that is a skill check and a half.
2 down, 10 to go. Starting out with Jace Smith coming along through for our amateur male division. 5'5", one of the shorter competitors that we have in the field out here today. 141 pounds, trains out of both Warrior Tech OCR and USA Ninja Challenge, both in North Carolina. And he's a former gymnast of 10 years, and that'll definitely help out on some of the flexible obstacles and the grip obstacles, such as the next 2 that we're seeing here. Pulling along through on some grip stuff here. Not a problem. A lot of endurance in his hands with a lot of experience athletically. He also enjoys math, art, woodworking, and rock climbing. And he's attending Oregon State University starting fall in 2026 for civil engineering. So literally the other side of the country. But Jace not having a problem here. 3 minutes on the clock as he pulls on down. Easy so far for him. Moving on to turbo rolls. We've seen people go out early on this one, but not for Jace.
Yeah, a bit of a close call on that second one. He took him to the ground, but Jace... Okay, the tomato slash apple slash other red fruit, the red delicious. Now, Jace going toe-to-toe with these cannonballs.
2 minutes and a half now. It's definitely a tough ask for all of these athletes here. It's a difficult one because on the bananas, you could kind of lift on the underside of them to push them out. On the cannonballs, you just need to use your raw overhand grip with it, and that's definitely harder. And he's lost again. He's lost the tomato. He's going to have to give it a try again due to that.
Okay, he goes again, but honestly, I think he can get through this on his second go. I mean, we were just talking about how he was a rock climber. Slopers, paramount on tougher routes / boulder problems. So Jace, spin it again. Hopefully, he can keep hold of the cannonballs this time around.
2 minutes left to go. He's moving along through. He's got a lot of pressure on those shoulders to carry on his run. Jace Smith gets the final one. Very clean run on the tomato traverse. And here he goes, 1 minute and 45 seconds as he moves on to the cliffhangers. With added difficulty, here he goes.
Yeah, talk about rock climbing. This is where the rock climbing skills will really be displayed. Building up a lot of swing, the gymnastic skills on the forefront, and the hands. No!
Okay, Jace Smith, he's got 1 minute and 27 seconds left. Gonna get some chalk. Gonna be needed for a big cliff obstacle like the one we're seeing right here. Trying to get some blood into those fingertips. Definitely gonna be needed. A lot of strength required to get through here. Jace knows what he must do, but does he have the strength and power to do such a thing?
No!
Oh, no! The Lachey there is what gets him out this time. Unfortunately, that's going to be the end of his run. Jace Smith still putting in an absolutely incredible performance regardless. Nice comeback on the picking fruits as well. Did very well elsewhere. But those cliffs, man, they take a lot of power and strength to get through. And if you use a retry on them, that just drains your strength even further.
Yeah, that's true. On the second go, yeah, tried to set himself forward, almost like he was doing a link or something to maybe immediately bump out to that back ledge. But the left hand didn't sustain a good enough grip, and his whole body went down. Regardless, though, I think we're starting to see what is going to be the crux point here. Jeffrey Bame, could he be the first one to crack through the cliffs?
Possibly. Here we move Jeffrey Beam coming along through age 47 out of Chapin, South Carolina. Did a very good job on the placement course from earlier. Just had a bit of a slip up that didn't allow him to get clear on the course. But Jeffrey's still pushing along through very strong here. One of our masters at age 47 as well. I'm loving the older community in Ninja being represented on our Premier Series course. 2 minutes and 55 seconds as he traverses along the top.
Yeah, hooking in the legs where needed, but from here, you only really need the arm. Jeffrey. Then comes the turbo rollers. You can't overlook them. If you take them for granted, they'll reject you just like that.
Unfortunate there on that second roller. Just stepped a bit too far forward and it's made him slip off. Jeffrey, though, second time around, might want to take the slower approach. A couple of the females were doing that earlier and it worked for them, just taking them forward slowly, and just needs to reach out to that trapeze, and he's gotten through them. Now just needs to make his way through the rest of the parallel pipes here. Very, very solid.
Okay, yeah, riding the wave, Jeffrey. Then comes the tomatoes. An obstacle that, honestly, with its newfangled modifications, is going to be trouble for someone like Jeffrey here. You got to place a lot of weight on one arm for potentially an extended period of time, especially if you miss like that. Luckily, has the platform to rely upon.
1 minute 50. Hooks in that first tomato.
Ooh.
A lot of good lock-off strength being used here. You're able to get a bit more control as you can see clearly where the hooks are. He's just going to go for the dismount as he's now got only one tomato being used. He's having trouble grabbing the other one, but he regains control of it. He hasn't used the retry on this obstacle yet, but he seems to be using up a lot of strength. But he's got that final tomato, just needs the dismount, and he has got it. Love it.
This is good news for Jeffrey, but it doesn't get any easier from here, and honestly, it might very well be a race to this point. So either get through this or get here fast. That's the name of the game, and Jeffrey.
Ooh, these cliffhangers. Nice to have Jeffrey out here. Through, no matter how much it takes. A minute left.
One more try here. Of course, both his retries are out of play, and the cliffs are not giving him a good shake. Come on, hold on, Jeff.
Oh, fingers. The fingertips just peeled off, sadly. He put a bit too much downward pressure on it, and that's what knocked him off. But still a very resilient run that we saw out of Jeffrey just now. A lot of big strength being used there, particularly on the tomatoes, being very resourceful as well with the turbo rollers not spinning the whole way, but still did a very, very solid job onto that obstacle. And then even losing a tomato halfway through, he was able to salvage it, and that must have taken up a lot of strength, and that sadly wasn't enough to take him further across the cliffhangers.
Yeah, if there's anything to take away from that run, I think it's definitely what he did on the tomatoes. That was a fight and a half.
Matt Callan's now coming out of Holly Springs, North Carolina. He is a coach at Warrior Tech OCR. He's an exercise physiologist. He has 4 cats and he trains with his girlfriend, Megan, who competes in the Masters female. Matt out here wanting to show all of his students over at Warrior Tech what they can all do. Here he moves 3 minutes and 15 seconds, moving very efficiently across these first few holds, keeping a very solid rhythm.
Yeah, gets onto the potato / coffee bean / loaf of bread / whatever. But yeah, proves to be no problem for Matt. And now from here, climbing up. You know, he has a PhD, might be one of our more academically capable competitors, but you're going to need a little bit more than that if you want to reach the buzzer. Interesting as well with the reach. He kind of stayed in the middle of the beam and rotated his body around. Interesting.
I'm liking the strategy that we're seeing out of Matt at the minute, that resourcefulness. Sadly, just doesn't help him on that first turbo roller. Just slipped off on that one. Needs to adapt on this obstacle here. It's a very tricky one. So Matt, second time around, hopefully is able to come on through. Rolling it so it doesn't have much to work with. He's just trying to figure out whether to pull it back or to push it forward. It looks like he's pushed it forward. No, he's pulled it back fully. Just having trouble with this one, though. Trying to figure out a solid strategy on how to go, because he can't do that on all of the rollers logistically. Unless he does. Never mind proving me wrong. Okay, Matt, I see you.
Yeah, I think he heard you there, really. He is through just like that. Now comes the tomatoes. An obstacle that is a hard-fought journey from each hook to hook. The tomatoes, foreboding for all to face it.
Matt Calan's out here. 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go on the tomatoes. Pulling back. Just misses on that first hook there that he has to push on through. And that's all of his retries gone already, which isn't a good prospect for Matt. So he's really going to have to push through here and get through this very, very tough obstacle here. The bananas. Not the bananas anymore, even the tomatoes. I keep thinking that they're cannonballs, but there's a big fruit theme going along in this competition, and it's throwing me off. But he's on the tomatoes now with 1.5 minutes left. Let's see how he can fare.
Yeah, fruit theme with all one of the obstacles. But regardless, all the bananas have been picked. The only fruit that remains are the high-hanging tomatoes. And Matt has gotten further than he was before when he took his last retry. He's having trouble getting it out, though. Again, you don't have a lot of torque to take the cannonball out. He engages the thumb and it comes out, but the front hand just can't hold on much longer. Matt, that's curtains for his day.
Sadly, just couldn't get the right flow on that obstacle right there. It's a very tricky one, especially if you don't get an even rhythm going immediately. It can be very hard to adjust to over the course of you just hanging for ages. Your mind is thinking 1,000 miles an hour whether to recover or to drop or to shake out or anything, but it just seemed like it was too much for him, which is unfortunate. Still a great run from Matt as we now move on to our next competitor, which is James Rutherford, coming out of Hillsborough in North Carolina. On the start line, we are moving on to our final 7 now.
Yeah, that's true. We're coming up on the halfway point, and still the Cliffs remain undefeated. Could it be that it's going to be a race, and that's going to be what the slots are determined by, or are we going to see some progress made? James, our person on the course is going to determine that, I guess.
James Rutherford, age 37, coming out of Hillsborough. Doing a very solid job at the minute. 3 minutes and 5 seconds as he scurries over to Don't Touch My Blocks. This one hasn't really been too much of a retry user. It's been more of a time waster. It takes a while to just naturally get through this obstacle. There aren't many fast ways to do it besides what James is doing right now, which is arguably the fastest way to do it, as he now sets himself up for these turbo rollers, which has taken a toll on a lot of our competitors throughout the weekend.
Yeah, James, good pivot. That'll take him through the turbo rollers. He dabs on the ground, but it's incidental.
Incidental. Lovely stuff there from James. Great adaptability. Nearly missed out there, but with 2 minutes and a half, he's going to push it through. Not having a problem so far. No retries used yet, but we've seen a lot of people go out on this obstacle in particular. It is the picking fruit with the tomatoes being used out here, trying to figure out the optimal grip here. She's utilizing. Let's see how he fares. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, painful obstacle. Truly no comfortable place to hold on to those cannonballs to really get a point of purchase to take them out. But James is managing here the first move. And if he can get through this without using a retry, that'll be very helpful for his placement on the leaderboard too.
Very happy with this at the moment. James Rutherford gets it in, hasn't really missed any tries there, going across onto that dismount platform as he now pushes himself into 3rd place. at the moment. 1 minute and 35 seconds as he gets ready to move. This has been a difficult one with the cliffhangers. He's enduring it until he just misses that grip there. James using his first retry of the course now.
Yeah, that was interesting technique. His swing looked a little wonky, perhaps because that bar is so close to the ground. But I don't think he can brute force this obstacle. I think this is one where technique is paramount.
Gets onto that first cliff, redeems himself from that transition, but time is ticking here, and this is a massive swing. Is he able to get it? No, just the slip is what seals him there, sadly for James Rutherford. These fellas having trouble with the cliffs here today, Kane. This is a bit of an extravagant sight we're seeing.
Yeah, that's true. As I sort of was expecting here, it's giving a lot of our athletes strife, a lot of trouble. Even these laches, which I wasn't expecting to be such a difficulty spike, that has claimed its fair share of athletes as well. The whole obstacle proving to be so unbeatable so far.
Yeah, no one's been able to crack it, but we still have 6 athletes left who have the capability to do it. John Helfenberger, age 30, out of Cary, North Carolina, wants to try and get through as many obstacles as he can here on the challenge course. If he gets past the cliffhanger, there's a good opportunity that he might be in contention for a finalist spot if everything else out of his control goes his way. But regardless, he's going to run at his own pace. Here he moves, moving up to Don't Touch My Blocks.
Yeah, kind of going gingerly between obstacles. The transition between obstacles is kind of a little bit important. I guess not as important as on the placement course where you have to sprint across the whole stinking gym. But John, oh, that was close. Oh, he nearly dabbed on that block, which is out of bounds. Luckily, disaster averted. John will not cough up a retry in the turbo rollers as well. A little squirrely with the steps. John, perfect so far. The retries that he may need later on stay in his back pocket.
Chalking up, though, he knows that these next couple of obstacles are very grip intensive here, starting out with our tomatoes on picking fruits. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Hooks the first one in. Let's see how he can fare. Can he get an even rhythm going to the start? This is what we should see out of John. Just low hanging, though.
Oh,
And
no.
just misses that first hook there. This is difficult for him because both him and the hook are swinging, so it's difficult to hook it in. Oh, it's so tantalizingly close, we can see, but he's forced it in this time. Just needs to do that a couple more times.
Okay, at least he gets some rest on that arm that he's been swinging on, but just as I say it, he's taking a lot of swings on the other arm, too. Oh, a lot of fatigue, surely coming in, but he's going to get a huge backswing.
Gonna delay it a bit, but he is fine. Okay, brilliant stuff there. John saves a bit of extra grip that might have been needed for a few others, but John still gonna push on through with 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go. This is gonna be a big deal for him. Oh, he's motoring through these cliffs. I like the pace that we're seeing.
Oh no, he hits his shoulder on the back cliff that he had surpassed already. The cliff that maybe he thought was out of his horizons, coming back to bite him.
He's still got just over a minute left here, but I can tell that his grip is going to be screaming at him at the minute. But he knows that he's good. He's good with cliffhangers here. Tries to go up to the bogeys, but couldn't cover enough distance, sadly. And that is going to be it for John's run, sadly. Very good effort.
Yeah, those bogeys continuing to prove to be a bridge too far for all that have faced it. But for what it's worth, I'm glad he was able to get through the tomatoes on his first go. And what I was seeing on the cliffs, to beat most of the obstacle in one continuous move is very, very impressive. But those bogeys are just on another planet in terms of distance and difficulty.
Mark Satterwhite is going to kick off the final 5 out here on our challenge course for the amateur males. It's going to be a big one here. 5'8", 150 pounds, 16 years old. He started Ninja in 2019. a proud member of the Lab Elite team out here representing the brand new gym. It's been open for quite a bit now, but still relatively new to the Southeast Ninja scene. Doing a very good 3 minutes, 13 seconds left to go on the clock, moving at a very efficient pace here, going up onto Don't Touch My Blocks.
Yeah, utilizing the height to get quite a ways up on the ascending portion of this obstacle as well. Good use of the frame that has been provided to him by, well, genetics, but Mark, I guess that's just what happens in Ninja. The turbo rollers, an obstacle that has taken out ninjas new and old, is also just a stick in the mud. He's far and away from it. But now, Mark, comes the tomatoes. This is not only proven to be a retry sync, but willy-nilly, Mark.
Perfect. Absolute brilliance. And by 12.5 seconds, he's put himself into first. At a very good pace at the minute, really setting a barrier between him and the rest of the competitors that have already gone. With over 2 minutes left, sets himself up! Come on! We're seeing a breakthrough. With only 5 competitors left, we're seeing new territory for our amateur males out here with grabbing the bar. We have to actually move the bar onto the cradles now. This is a difficult move. Our teen males had to do this as well with mixed results. But Mark Satterwhite coming along through, getting onto the top of that little M-shaped cradle. Onto the top, and nice! He's got it!
Wow, what a sadistic series of moves. But Mark, this may be the easy one. He lands a crooked, but we know that's fixable, and he is through. No retries, 1:35. The balance, you don't want to burn a retry here, and he does not. But now Mark taking a moment to chalk up from Flip Rodriguez, the guy who will be running right after him as he climbs up to the top of the gym. It doesn't get any easier. These are some big, long-winded moves that stand in front of Mark Satterwhite and the buzzer. Ooh, setting his swing perfectly. No! Too far back and too low as well.
His feet were right there on the platform, but he was leaning back once he was there, as you say. But we've got 65 seconds left to go. A clear is still possible. By the way, he's almost there. He's got 3 more obstacles left to go with over a minute on the clock. Things can still happen here as he reels the trapeze back into himself. Sets it back. Needs to put his hips back at the midpoint and swing forward, and he's got it this time.
Okay, first competitor to take hold of the TikTok, and he immediately gets out of there. Inside of 45 seconds, he has a ring tech gauntlet on the forefront. Now swinging, building it up. Oh, wait, is he going for a skip? Does he want to go for the third hook instead? Whoa, he does it!
Wait, no, that isn't the third hook. That's the second one. It's closer. Here he goes. If he was going to go for the third, he'd be going for that one, but he sadly leaves it too short. 1 more retry left to go. 22 seconds. It's going to be really, really tight to get through this obstacle alone, let alone the 2 remaining.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, the perspective made it look a little crazier than it was. But Mark, regardless, 20 seconds, has to go for broke at this point if you want an extra obstacle in his score here. And the second hook evades him. It lands in its slot, but he can't hold on.
Unfortunate there for Mark, but man, that was a breakthrough and a half. Really setting the precedent for what's to come for the final 4 athletes here. We have a lot of big names and big talent on show very shortly, but Mark has really set a high bar for the rest of our athletes to clear, because all of our athletes need to beat Mark to his point in order to get a spot into the Premier Series finals. This is huge here, and next up is going to be the person who was coaching Mark on the sideline. Very much well-renowned within the Ninja community. We saw Mark nearly go out very early on that, on the swoop talk. But regardless, it's time for Flip Rodriguez to pull on through. One of the most experienced American ninjas in the entire world at this point. Started in 2011. He's the head coach at the lab in Florida. A large team behind him. But now it's his turn to take on the obstacles himself. Come on, Flip.
Yeah, Flip again. first saw him on the show as a speed demon that eventually was able to compete in Japan as well, the birthplace of Ninja as a whole. But Flip, at age 36, is making leaps and bounds through the second obstacle. He's an incredible coach and an everlasting ninja and presence in the show and the community.
You can see him here really using all that experience and adaptability. He's aging like fine wine, as we say on our courses out here. Flip should definitely have a bit of experience with obstacles like we're seeing with these tomato holds right here. 2 minutes and 45 seconds as he pushes along through an incredible pace. He's seeing it through, but he's missing the last one. Just re-grabs it there. Age 36 out of Florida, making the skip. Not a problem there. Still has both of his retries in tow, and here to the cliffhangers, faster than Mark Satterwhite, his student.
Yeah, and he wants to do these moves in one continuous move, getting a huge pullback to hopefully find those bogeys. Yes!
Oh, very careful there. You could see his fingers were almost pulling down a bit, but he's still enduring. Those hands have seen a lot in Ninja over the last few years, but this time he's got to see a whole new course out here at Carolina Ninja Academy. He's got a lot of experience with bars. Let's see if all of it can pay off. Moving along through to this bit of tech here. A lot of people have had trouble with this in the previous divisions, and he misses the first jump, sadly, unlike Flip. See, oh, man.
Oh, I think I know what he was trying to do, though. I think he was trying to hop the bar directly on top of the cradle, so he didn't have to do the upward move. Let's see if he tries that again. No, he's going to do the upward move, but some ingenuity. Sometimes it takes an old ninja to see that.
Here we go. No! Flip! Sadly down. You could see there, he didn't quite know what happened, but you could see throughout the rest of his run before, that was an incredible showcase of what he was able to do as an athlete, as well as a coach, as we've seen within this entire weekend. He got the skip. He was able to get a very tough grip on those bogeys on that bar, but that first bar move on his first attempt at Gravity is Real really shook him, it looks like. And when he tried to go forward with it, it looks like the right side was just a bit too far away and it knocked the cradle out. So, it's on the bubble now.
Yeah, this does mean that his student Mark is safe, but it puts the coach in the line of fire. So we'll see with our final 3 competitors if that run will be adequate enough. It very well may be, honestly, because getting there in a remarkably quick time, that could be enough.
Indeed it can. Gotta beat Flip if you want to get into the Premier Series Finals. Gabriel Kalnan have a bit of a slip there on the Warp Roll Complex, but with 3 minutes and 20 seconds, he's pulling in the holds immediately, saving a few milliseconds when necessary, pushing out the hammer. I like it. He saved basically 2 seconds on that one as he now pulls himself up onto watch out my the blocks.
Yeah, that'll do. Gabriel, part of team level, or not team level up, team motive, and he saw his fellow teammate Faith Tress win the competition in the amateur female division. So Gabriel wants to join her atop the podium, dominate amongst the motive team people, but Gabriel has a long and arduous journey set in store. Those tomatoes, so far so good, outside of a little slip up early on, but he's hit his groove and hits the skip willy-nilly. Gabriel
Kalnan now in 3rd place. Gonna come along onto these cliffs here where there's a lot of opportunities for links. If you set your hands forward immediately, gonna take one large backswing going up to those bogeys, and he hits it. They're so small and they're moving a tiny bit, but Gabriel pulls on through, currently in 3rd. But this is where we've just seen Flip Rodriguez go down, so he's going to chalk up and get ready for Gravity is Real.
Yeah, that's true. Gabriel not safe yet. He didn't get here faster than Flip, which means that the only way forward is to conquer the obstacle that defeated Ninja veteran Flip Rodriguez. This was the move.
Gabriel Kalnan trying his best to push along through. 1 minute 38, and he's got it dead on first time. Now he needs to gear up some momentum to reach out to the salmon ladder bar and immediately links the move. And just like that, Gabriel is now going to be locked in for the Premier Series finals after he gets that dismount. Now coming on into balance maze.
And off of balance maze, just as you say it, on and off. Blink and you miss it. Gabriel now still a ways behind Mark. However, he could still notch himself into first place if and only if he beats this on his first go.
Here he goes, walks off the platform and almost had it. His foot was just a bit too far in front. He needs to get a bit more height, reel his foot in a tiny bit more, and just reach out with all 4 of his limbs at the same time. Because if you have your legs going first, then there's a high chance that it can be pushed out right from in front of you, like we just saw from Gabriel. So second time around, let's see how he fares.
Of course, reeling in the bar, that's the easy part. And then the not so easy part, the transfer from swoop to TikTok is a successful one. Gabriel is still going to be in second place by a couple of seconds. So again, a similar predicament to what he had on Gravity is Real. The ring tech, though, I'm sure they've been perking up on this at Motive.
It's a big one here, trying to get the big move, and he's got it! Okay, here we go. If he's able to get to the dismount platform, Gabriel Calden will be in first place. 20 seconds left. Gets to the platform. Now he's going to rush over to the rope to see if he can get to the top of the Carolina Heavens here. Moving across these rings, but he's missing grabs. And unfortunately, 8 seconds left. I don't know if he's going to make it, but he's going to try his best. 4 seconds left. Climbing up, but just 2 little grabs there, and that's going to be it for Gabriel. Time is up.
Yeah, time expires just as he loses grip of that gauntlet rope. Speaking of gauntlet, talk about what he just took on beforehand. So fast to that point. He was a little bit behind the curve, but his consistency on every obstacle could not be understated. And that was what was able to help him get to the first place spot. Who knows? That may be enough to win the competition altogether. But I think Gabriel will be happy with that run overall.
2 more competitors left in our amateur male division. 2 more spots open for the Premier Series. Devin Dennis, our second fastest finisher on the placement course, started Ninja in 2018. Out here, has competed 12 times throughout the season, age 17, coming out of the young adult division. He's getting ready to move at a very fast pace already.
Yeah, wants to hit his stride early on, set the precedent for the remainder of his run. Devin, the third obstacle here, just a stepping stone. Honestly, I don't think I've seen anyone take a retry here.
Not today, no, but it's just a massive time waster in the grand scheme of things. If this obstacle wasn't here, we have about 5 clears at the minute. Here goes Devin Dennis, 1, 2. Oh, but just misses that second hop on the turbo rolls there. Doesn't want to be using a retry this early, especially when some big, tough obstacles are next up. Here he moves, taking a breather. Needs to plan out his steps thoroughly, calculate the speed of which all of those rollers spin at, and sadly down and out second time. Oh, mate. Oh, that's really unfortunate. He tried his best there. Oh,
no
with that fail,
way.
that's going to cement his coach flip into the Premier Series finals, though. But Devin really could have gone far due to how fast he went in the placement course. That was so shocking.
Yeah, the turbo rollers, and obstacle that put a lot of elite ninjas in the grave, also kills Devin's challenge course run as well. And then there was one, Kaysen Douglas, a Premier Series slot open for the taking. Will it be Jace or will it be will it be Benjamin or will it be Kaysen? Sorry.
Kaysen here has a lot of potential, though, to round out our incredible amateur male division. Kaysen Douglas, who was one of our first competitors on the placement course earlier, but now our last competitor on our challenge course. Has had a lot of time to rest. He qualified at Rise at the Warehouse last year at the Premier Series for Season 3. Hoping to do the same for Carolina Ninja Academy for Season 4 as he immediately brushes along through those holds.
Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, case in point, he was our fastest guy, obviously. That's why he's running last. And we're seeing some of that speed on display early on. We saw the turbo rollers be a problem for our last runner, but Kaysen able to set his feet in the right spots on those turbo rollers to not be rejected.
2 minutes and 48 seconds. He's chalking up as he now takes hold of these tomatoes. We've seen a lot of people get hung up on this obstacle throughout all of the divisions this weekend. But Kaysen, having a bit of trouble ejecting that first one. Has a lot of control, needs to see it through those holes. And does exactly that and dismounts immediately due to it. But now we're seeing him face these cliffhangers. Has he got enough left in the tank to move on through with the linking motions?
Yep, I like this. One continuous fell swoop in every single move, but he knows he needs an enormous pullback for the bogeys, and it's not adequate enough.
Kaysen Douglas.
No.
He's in the Premier Series finals, though. He's gotten to the cliffhangers the fastest out of the people who haven't cleared it, but he definitely wants to get past it. He's chalking up. He's ready to go. This is going to be a big deal for him. He needs to get ready. Get the impact on those tiny ledges after those big cliffs.
All right, well, this is what the retry system is for. He probably didn't want to take a fall there, but sometimes you just have to deal with the cards you are dealt. Kaysen shaking out, trying to regroup himself before setting off once more on these cliffs. These were the easy moves, but now he's going to build it up instead of a big pullback, and that's the winning formula for Kaysen.
There we go. Love it. 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go for him. Here we go. On to the Bartek. A few people have had trouble with this one. Let's see if he can get it. He's gone to the top of the M to get a bit more height, and he seals it in perfectly. How's he going to fare into the salmon? He sets himself up for a link on one of the higher rungs. Okay, I see Kaysen. Lovely stuff. Now in third, coming into balance.
Yeah, but from here, time is looking a little down upon him. 1:11 to this point. We saw Mark maybe, I don't know, this might be doable if he one-shots it, but that's easier said than done. Everyone who's beaten this obstacle so far has done it on their second go, and Kaysen is the one to do it.
There we go. First time around getting the clear on the swoop talk, and now he's on the fastest pace, and he knows that he has a solid opportunity to get the buzzer. He just needs to straighten himself out for these sky hooks. He got onto them with a bit of a weird momentum shift, but he needs to backswing where he wants to face, and he's done just that. Goes on to the first hook, but that has taken a bit of time. Hopefully he's able to fix it quick enough for the third hook here. Can he get it? Yeah! Oh, mate. Nearly had it. 26 seconds left on the clock, though. There is still a bit of time left to get through this obstacle. I don't know about a full clear, but getting the skyhook glory will definitely help him out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with that fall, that may have dug his grave here. I don't think a buzzer, but at the very least, Kaysen building it up, wants to get that extra point. No! The final skyhook evades him, and Kaysen cements himself as the second place competitor in the amateur male division here at the Carolina Ninja Academy.
Very, very good run. A lot of speed showcased in the early areas of this course. Had to take an interesting retry on the cliffhangers, though, in the middle of our course, but he was able to overcome that. He linked a bunch of bar moves, which was great to see on the balance. And then on the swoop tuck, the only athlete in the amateur division to get through it first try. Incredible stuff overall, but the skyhooks just sadly weren't going to be it for him. It looked like on the second attempt that he had on the obstacle, he linked the move over to the second. If he did that the first time, he might have been able to calculate the swing onto the third a bit quicker and successfully. But regardless, that's going to cement our boy Kaysen into second place, with Gabriel Kalnan being our top finisher for the amateur male division. Shout out to Gabriel, Kaysen, Mark, and Flip for being our top 4 qualifiers for the Premier Series finals. We will see them at Ascend at the end of this year. Well done to Tina, Faith, Megan, and Aaliyah for getting through the amateur female division and also qualifying for the Premier Series finals. The amateur division is such a great division to watch. Massive fan of how we combine the young adults, and the Masters, and it all comes out to be an incredible competition representing so many different age categories.
Yeah, and so many different walks of life. As we've seen a lot of competitors who started Ninja early on in their life and haven't been doing it for nearly as long as others. And then we see seasoned veterans such as Flip Rodriguez. And it's so incredible to see so many varying competitors with varying skill sets and varying gyms as well. A lot of diversity just in general to be had. It's very, very, I don't know, gives me a lot of joy to watch.
Indeed. So seeing all these guys absolutely crush it, we saw a lot of success across the board. Very happy with how everything went on both the placement course and the challenge course. We saw speed and endurance at a top-notch level. Nearly had a buzzer, courtesy of our top finisher, which was Gabriel Kalnan. Nearly had it, we can see here. First time around on the Bartek as well. Absolutely impeccable. On the TikTok too. Then the skyhooks he was able to get through too. But it was just too much for the rope. A bit too little time left to properly get any good progress onto it. But regardless, that's going to wrap up our amateur division for the Carolina Ninja Academy qualifier in North Carolina. One more wave to go, and it's going to be our elite division that's going to commence in about an hour and a half. Kane, thank you so much for joining me. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I usually regurgitate these every time I'm on the mic here in Premier Series, but I'm just happy to be here to watch these ninjas unfold on courses that actually challenge them relative to their skill sets, from the 6 to 8 competitors to masters and above. I'm so happy to be here and so happy that Ninja has grown to such an everlasting, massive size.
I agree. I can't wait to see that size expand throughout the next couple of years out here within the community. But we still have the elites to come from Kane Malden and Billy Dixon. We've been your commentators for the amateurs, and we'll see you soon.